Welcome everyone to the monthly Thursday call from TradeWinds, a Teleris Group company for January 21st, 2021. Thank you for taking time to join us this morning. We hope each of you enjoyed a very happy new year and that you're happy, safe, and prospering. I'm Doug Miller, your host for these calls. This monthly event is an opportunity for you, our partners, to better get to know TradeWinds, our management and team members, and to learn about our amazing systems, tools, and resources, all designed to help you be successful. You'll also get to know each other through our sales recognition and awards, and both our live and virtual events. During today's call, you'll hear very exciting news from TradeWinds Loyalty Program Manager Candy Phillips regarding the upcoming Season 3 of TradeWinds Race to the Summit competition. There'll be qualifying details for our annual TradeWinds President's Club trip and an introduction to and powerful training from LogMeIn on their solutions for remote access to internet-enabled devices, allowing both access and management of those devices anytime, anywhere. All of that information is here during our monthly fast-paced and informative TradeWinds Thursday call. We invite you to join both the video and audio portions of today's event in order to see all of today's valuable information and to submit questions and comments through our chat window for today's live presenters. Please enter those anytime. We'll get to as many as time allows live and answer any others privately after today's call. First up, TradeWinds is very proud to announce and present our new Chief Revenue Officer, Megan Wilkinson. We've known Megan for years as a channel leader, someone who will get things done and is deeply committed to our partners. Her skills and experience will give TradeWinds a new level of strategic thinking as she works with TradeWinds leaders in the field as they work to build partner awareness of TradeWinds tools, unique sales resources, and strategic lead generation programs. Welcome, Megan. We're so pleased you've joined TradeWinds.
Gosh, thanks, Doug. Happy Thursday, all. It's still Wednesday in the States, so I always enjoy to talk to folks, a day ahead. I hope Thursday's going well because I'm looking forward to it tomorrow. So thank you for the warm introduction, and I am excited to work with the team and strategize in 2021 and beyond. I've had the pleasure of getting indoctrinated from Tony and learning the landscape. A little bit of background, I used to live in Melbourne, Australia, so I do have some near and dear to my heart, that area of the world, and know it fondly and believe in the immense opportunity ahead of us. And I come from the supplier landscape, so excited to now have been supporting the channel in my past career and now being what I would say in the middle of the channel. So I view Teleris and TradeWinds as just the best in class in working with our partners and trying to understand strategically how we are going to think differently about this transformative future that we continue to live in and be shocked day by day on how fast it's moving. So look forward to meeting everyone on this call and driving anything as possible in 2020 and beyond. So nice to meet all of you. Have a fantastic Thursday call. And Doug, I'll pass it back to you.
Well, thanks, Megan. One question. I've heard you say in other interviews that this opportunity was really a perfect fit for you. And I'm sure our partners don't know everything about your background and experience, which really prepared you well for this. Tell them a little bit more, if you would, about your vision for TradeWinds growth and specifically how our partners are going to benefit from these new and exciting opportunities in 2021.
Sure, absolutely, Doug. I'd be happy to answer that. So perfect fit. Yes, when the shoe just fits it, it's great, isn't it? A little bit about my background. I've had immense opportunity to have a variety of roles across strategy, marketing, operations, sales facing, and in back office. I led digital transformation for IT and recently was in a partner success organization focused on driving revenue growth for the indirect channel globally for Lumen. One of the big suppliers globally, but predominantly in North America. So where I see immense opportunity with TradeWinds going forward in the future is really trying to start to think about the landscape, not just from the ANZ perspective, but from that part of the world. I think there's a lot of emerging capabilities that are starting to evolve as we looked last year and everything went digital. I think in how folks use the cloud and folks how you were using UCaaS and CCaaS is changing immensely every single day in both emerging markets, in third world countries, and countries that we haven't predominantly or focused on in the past, but we should be focusing on, because I think that's really where they're going to start to drive business trajectory and get the North Americas of the world to think differently, because they're leading the charge on how they use technology. Because at the end of the day, it's connection that brings humans together, and that is the power of technology. Why we're on the call today, why I get to talk to you from Wednesday into the future of Thursday.
It's so true.
Yeah, and the beauty of when I say the perfect fit, I believe in culture and people at the end of the day. Honestly, I think that you can have the best in class technology, but if you don't have the best people and you don't have the best partners, then everything kind of falls down. And I feel like TradeWinds and our strategic partners and those in the region that we're talking to today are part of that. And I'm really excited to be part of that because we have that. Let's go make it happen. So that's kind of where I thought, well, we all have different expertise. I bring a different lens of that as well, but the culture component was very, very important at the end of the day. So excited to be part of it.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks, Megan, for being part of today's call. We are all very excited about your new role and the opportunities ahead for all of our partners. Certain that our TradeWinds partners will greatly benefit from your leadership in the channel space. Let's talk again very soon. Welcome.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, Megan. Well, every sale closed in 2021 helps qualify you for our TradeWinds President's Club, which will be held next year in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Now, as I sit here today at my location, the forecast high temperature is a balmy 3 degrees Celsius. While today in Puerto Vallarta, the beach volleyball will be played and the fruity drinks served in 26 degrees Celsius temperatures. More info to come, but that's all I needed to know. You can begin qualifying today for the 2021 TradeWinds President's Club. And for the first time ever, TradeWinds is sending our top 10 producing partners to an exclusive 7-day trip to someplace on your bucket list. And there's no reason that you can't earn both of these trips. Qualification is underway. We hope to see you at our 2021 TradeWinds President's Club. And here are some additional events coming up in the near term. We hope you'll plan to join us. Our Jeopardy events have been some of the most popular, with tremendous prizes and outstanding content designed to help partners grow their business and their opportunities. And we have 2 opportunities coming to play at Jeopardy, Friday, January 29th, and also Friday, February 19th. More about those later, but mark them on your calendar. Also in February, we hope you'll join TradeWinds for our Contact Center as a Service training. It's an opportunity called Pit Stop Training. We use that from racing terminology. Plan to join us on Tuesday, February 2nd for outstanding training on identifying CCaaS opportunities and closing those opportunities with solutions from our amazing suppliers. Our next TradeWinds Thursday call is slated for February 17th. And finally, the annual Spring Channel Partners Virtual Conference and Expo takes place March 2nd through 5th. Take advantage of this opportunity to persevere, overcome, and progress in the months ahead. Now, many of you are saying, but Doug, how can I obtain details on these and other upcoming TradeWinds events? The answer, of course, is to contact TradeWinds VP Tony Haywood, who is currently on holiday in Dunbogan on the mid-north coast of New South Wales, or Operations Manager Francis Choi, who is not. Both of whom joined Teleris on today's call. TradeWinds, welcome, Tony. Wanted to give you a moment to say hello and maybe introduce Francis and talk about our Partner of the Month for December. How you doing?
You know what? I'm surprisingly well. I'm just sitting here in Dunbogan at the boat shed overlooking the river and feeding the myriad of bream, wishing that they were on the end of my line. But enough about what I'm doing. I'm back in the office on Monday, ready for a big year, and really excited that Megan has been able to join our business. And I've already learned a lot from Megan, and we're talking about our Asia-Pac plans and what we want to do across the Asia-Pac region. But to much more important things, I'd like to introduce Francis Choi, our operations manager for TradeWinds in ANZ, and he's going to talk about our partner of the month. Francis, over to you.
Thanks, Amy. Good to see you all, and thank you all for joining the call for our first monthly call this January. I'd like to quickly highlight Global Talk, who was our December partner of the month with some really great deals across multiple vendors. Thank you, Stuart Mellings and his team. They've done a fantastic job. And while everyone was kind of slowing down towards the end of December, Global Talk has really ramped it up and closed some fantastic deals. So back to you, Doug. Thank you so much.
Francis, thanks for being on the call. Tony, thanks to you as well. And congratulations, Stuart Mellings and the entire Global Talk team. Great recognition. We love recognizing our partners on this call and the great wins and the opportunities that they've been able to close. Thank you both for joining. Tony, we'll see you in the office next week. With the new year, several of our TradeWinds suppliers have announced fantastic spiff opportunities to help you earn even more from the sales you close. Here are two of those. First, Vonage wants partners to earn 8x MRR spiffs in the new year. Now, Vonage's first quarter promotion is offering 4x MRR spiffs on all business communications or standalone contact center deals written on a minimum 1-year agreement. Or make it a 6x MRR spiff if written on a 3-year agreement. Plus, any new partners who didn't sell a new Vonage deal last year will earn an extra 2x MRR spiff. That's a total of 8x MRR on sales of Vonage solutions. This fantastic offer is good through March 31st. And next, RingCentral has announced the first of their 2021 spiffs, and there are many. How about a 1x MRR spiff on all upsell deals? Easy enough. Or earn 4x MRR spiffs on sales of all annual prepaid Ignite program deals on a 2-year agreement. Or 5x on Ignite deals on a 3-year agreement. There is also a 5x MRR spiff available for selling UCaaS solutions with RingCentral, and 5x for RingCentral customer experience sales on a 2-year term. Or 6x. I said 6x on customer experience sales with 3-year terms. This is very generous. RingCentral is helping you multiply your profits with these fantastic first quarter spiffs. Be sure to ask Tony and Francis about these and any other available spiffs on your next TradeWinds opportunity. Well, today I'm very pleased to be joined by TradeWinds Loyalty Program Manager Candy Phillips, who's here with a tremendously exciting announcement and exclusive information to help you take full advantage of our next big event. Candy, welcome to the Thursday call. How are you?
Thank you, Doug. Doing well. So glad to be here.
Glad to have you here. You've got some big announcements and some tips and tricks for our partners.
I do. So let's kick it off if we want to go ahead to the next slide. As I scroll through the attendee list, I see several partner names I recognize that have participated in Race to the Summit, both seasons 1 and seasons 2. And here in the States, as Megan said, you're in the future. But today, January 20th, for us, we have kicked it off. So you now have access to the content in Race to the Summit Season 3. Just keep in mind, for those of you that have played, the dates in the Click app are set in Eastern Standard Time. So just be aware of that when you see different things uploaded. So for those of you that haven't played, you're wondering, how do you join in? Why should you play? Take a hit to the next slide, Stephania, please, on how to play. If you haven't registered yet, you can access that form on the TradeWinds website under Events and Race to the Summit. Simply register. You'll get an email from support@click.co. That's KLIK, which is the app we'll use. Click that link, set up your profile, and you're in. The tasks that we have for you, the videos to watch, these are educational. They're great ways to build relationships with your channel managers in doing calls. And of course, there's great prizes to be won. Next slide, please, Steph. Everything will be run through the site app.click.co. Once you log in, or once you get that link, you can easily just skip connecting your LinkedIn, Facebook. You won't need to. So you'll go ahead and click that skip and start registration, or feel free to add in your LinkedIn. It'll pull in all your info with your photo, making the process even easier to get started. Next slide, please. All right, so completing your profile is as simple as checking that box if you want it, you want to connect your LinkedIn, then you'll go to your interests. So we have these filled out where if you're looking to get education on CCAS, unified communication, cybersecurity, you can add those interests and then you'll be able to select those courses when we upload that video content. Last, you'll click done and you'll be able to proceed through. All right, next slide. We have some new content in season 3. I think this is what everyone is most excited for. Go ahead and play. Isn't that amazing? The marketing team, the studio production team have done an incredible job on all the new content that we'll have this season. When you log in, there will be a season 3 launch, the premiere video, and also channel updates where we have Adam, Patrick, and Richard talking about the new types of content that you'll see in this season. So you saw that preview for tomorrow's technology. So Patrick Oborn, as our Chief Product Officer, is interviewing suppliers, and the only rule is they can't talk about products that already exist. So they have to look forward at market trends, consumer trends, where are the investments going? Along with that series, we also have Anatomy of a Win. This series will explore the journey of a deal from start to finish, and Culture and People with Richard Murray. This is a really great series that will explore how others hire their employees for culture, expertise, any red flags. This will be a really great series to get to know suppliers in a different way. All right, next slide, Steph. All right, so prizes. When you think Race to the Summit is amazing for the education and connecting with suppliers, but we all love prizes, right? So on the pit stops that you'll be joining with Tony, like you have the contact center coming up soon, we get prizes there. Watch throughout the season, which it lasts until April 14th. On these Thursday calls, we'll surprise you. So we won't tell you ahead of time. It'll be a surprise. So make sure you're always present on a Thursday call to get a chance to win there. Of course, Jeopardy. Like Doug said, these are the best events. And I even see Mr. Brian O'Reilly. He won a Peloton on one of our Jeopardy games, the grand prize last season. So we know it's early. We understand, but we love that you can join us because, hey, that is a great way to get some prizes. Also, we've heard from partners say, you tricked me. That is a great way to get education while being entertained. So it's a great event for everyone. And then, of course, top 10. One of the things that we love to see is partners engaging in the video content, as well as things like calling the channel manager, doing demos, deal registration. Those will all advance your points to make it on the leaderboard. And of course, throughout the series, we do ensure that points are fair for everyone. So you all have the same amount of points available. All right, next slide, please. And you know, of course, the feedback. We talk about the education is great. The pit stops that we go on are good because we bring suppliers in that really have great messages to share. So I won't read all these, but just want to tell you that we are getting outstanding feedback on these. And then, of course, prizes are always a great way to wrap it up as partners share. Next slide, please. Okay, so I know why you're here. You want to know how to win. And these are the tips to win that I'm going to share the insider secrets with you today. So you'll notice in the app, there will be activities like deal registration and call the channel manager. These activities you want to get done early, and that'll bump your points up on the board quickly, okay? Videos, you can watch these at any time. Depending on the time of day we post them, you can watch them anytime. I'll also give you another tip. We see most partners doing it from their desktop, which is great. A lot of us are working off laptops, but if you download the Click app, you can actually watch videos on the go. So what a great way to multitask and cook dinner while you're watching a new Tomorrow's Technology video. It's the best of both worlds. So there's my insider tip for you. Last, in the app, you can check the schedule, see all the new content we're uploading. We'll also send out emails that are summarizing all the activities that are available so that you can earn your points. All right, next slide. All right, I put this image here because I think it speaks volumes. Race to the Summit is not a sprint. It is a marathon. It does last for 12 weeks. And even if you don't see things coming in right away, just know that there's content that will be spread out over those 12 weeks for you to complete. Don't be discouraged if you don't see your name in the leaderboard right away. We know you will get there. We actually did have some of our international partners in the top 10 in season 1, so we know it can be done, and we're rooting for you. All right, next slide. So the big grand prize, of course, we had to, go with that Tesla lease or 25,000 cash. The last 2 winners have selected the cash. Maybe we'll have, one of our partners here today that ends up winning, and you might pick the Tesla. It would be a great new way to start out the new year, right? All right, next slide. All right, so for any questions, feel free to reach out to racetothesummit@teleris.com. We're here to help, and if you have any issues logging in or any questions, we want to get you going, so don't hesitate.
Candy, thanks so much. Terrific presentation. One of the things that really impressed me about Race to the Summit seasons 1 and 2 and now 3 is that those who have won big in seasons 1 and 2, you think they might just go on their way and say, oh, that was a good experience, don't need to do that anymore. No, they are back in the new season with a vengeance. They're playing to win, but they also realize the value that this has for their business. Talk just a little bit more about what this can do for a partner's business, especially as they're starting to ramp up and get going in the new year.
You are absolutely right, Doug, and thank you for the question. In season 1, we had a 3-way tie. Really came down to some of those final deal registrations. Since points are equitable across the board, we knew that would be an outcome, so we spun a prize wheel and picked that winner. It's no surprise that those 3 finalists were actually in the top 10 again in season 2. So that's excellent. We love to see that returning participation. And yes, there's a really amazing prize at the end. But like you said, that education has been so valuable. We've heard from so many partners that said, I'd never gone into this space before. I'd never sold this product. I never worked with this supplier. But through that Race to the Summit introduction, they now felt more comfortable in that, or they had that conversation with the channel manager. They talked about the opportunities they had on the table and realized what a great solution this would be for their clients. So the feedback has been amazing and helping them grow their business and stretch and push themselves out of their comfort zone into areas they're now selling into, which of course is just enhancing and growing their business along the way.
It's a great opportunity for new partners as well as those who've been doing this for quite some time. You will learn things that will help grow your business, and you're going to have an awfully lot of fun doing it and perhaps win some great prizes. Candy, thank you to all, and to you and to all of the members of the marketing team that have helped put this together. I don't think we anticipated when we did season 1 that we'd be doing a season 3, but it's been that popular, that fun, and that valuable for our partners. Thanks for the tips and tricks.
Absolutely. Thank you, Doug. Have a great day, everyone.
You too, Candy. Thank you. Race to the Summit Season 3 is on. Well, today we are excited to welcome LogMeIn to the Thursday call. LogMeIn provides the most comprehensive, secure, and flexible suite of products to help businesses embrace remote work, learning, and customer engagement. Mark Harvey is the head of UCC channel sales for APAC, and Elissa Pietrasanta is sales manager APAC for LogMeIn. They both join us now to introduce, explain, and help you identify opportunities for these powerful LogMeIn remote solutions. Mark and Elissa, welcome back to the TradeWinds Thursday call. How are you?
Very good, Doug. How are you?
Terrific. Thanks. Mark, did we get your video going again?
I don't think we have. Steph, if you could turn my video on. I think we're having some technical issues here.
But we promise he's there. Well, you guys, it's a powerful product set and solution set, and so many opportunities coming up this year after we've made these transitions in the previous year now to so many remote working opportunities. Tell us a little bit about how LogMeIn can help our partners grow their business and solve many of their clients' needs.
So, yeah, look, the opportunity, I think, moving into 2021 is absolutely massive channel in general and globally as alike. We were acquired by private 4 or 5 months back, a company called Francisco Partners. They've injected quite a lot of investment into the business. And interestingly, even though we've had a private equity injection, where some companies often they look to shore up the organization, we've actually grown as a business in terms of our employee headcount. And they're injecting funds into particular areas that we'll be concentrating on very specifically over the next year. So that's across the portfolio from a unified communications, collaboration and contact center standpoint, but also through our security offering through LastPass as well. So really, really exciting to talk about that today, Doug.
Well, go right ahead. We've got a big slide deck. We'll let you kind of dictate the speed that we go through them. And as we get questions along the way, we'll answer those here at the end. Feel free to submit your questions and comments in our chat window at any time. Mark and Elisa, it's all yours.
Lovely stuff. Thank you. Okay, guys, Happy New Year first and foremost. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Mark. And as Doug's pointed out, I manage the channel business for the APAC region for LogMeIn. I'm really excited to be, almost the first cab off the rank in many ways, locally from a vendor standpoint, to talk to you about, what we're looking to do and some of the exciting things that we're doing in 2021. I'm also going to introduce you to Elisa Petrosanta, who is one of our sales managers throughout the region. She looks after one of two sizable sales organizations across the ANZ and Japan region. So we'll go into that structure a little bit later on. But in terms of how we can assist you guys, essentially we've got about 50 salespeople that are there that are solely there to assist customers, and also there's been a big drive for channel. So we see our future as channel for our organization. The UCC business, as many of you know, is 100% channel anyway. So really excited to start to leverage some of those existing salespeople, injecting those guys into our channel organization moving forward. If you guys can move on, just one slide, thank you. Great stuff. So as I mentioned initially, there's been a lot of change in our organization. We were acquired by private equity back in September, and that's been going on for the last year. Look, it's super exciting for us. Despite, as I mentioned, that the private equity injection, we've actually grown as an organization. They are very, very specific around the areas that we are going to be focusing on moving forward. The two big growth areas are our go-to suite, unified communications, collaboration and contact center, and also security. So that's identity access and access management and multi-factor authentication. So super numbers, hard numbers. Well, we've basically brought on 200 developers to round out our UC solution. And that's sort of, in terms of a physical sort of financial investment, that's sort of upwards of 20 to 30 million bucks. So super exciting in terms of where we're going to be within the next sort of 2 quarters. We had our sales kickoff last week, and they sort of went through some of the changes that we're making, which, I think, I can't wait basically to be able to present that through my team to the channel. It's a real sort of holistic UC offering and plugging that LastPass security piece into that as well. So over time, over the next couple of quarters, we can sort of undress that, and you guys get to sort of play with that, and hopefully some of you will be the first cabs off the rank in terms of sort of beta testing over the next 3 months. So for those of you that don't know us, guys, as I mentioned, we are a SaaS-driven business. Prior to private equity, we were a top 10 global public SaaS company. Our revenues actually this year are just north of 1.4 billion. 3,500 people, across the globe. A true SaaS company with a touch point in most countries. Moving on, please. Great stuff. So we have very much reimagined ourselves, in terms of who we are, particularly with this pandemic that the world's been struggling with, over the last year. In terms of how we embrace this concept of work from anywhere, we very much redefined ourselves, by sort of empowering businesses, with sort of business continuity, in sort of times of disruption. So when I say times of disruption, COVID is a classic example, and it fills me full of pride as a human being knowing that I work for an organization that has actually been able to help individuals and help companies, survive basically through the last 12 months. And we were providing emergency work kits free of charge to organization people free of charge. So it honestly does fill me full of pride to know that I work for a business that can do that. So that's one of the things that we do. And it's, as I mentioned, it's really sort of embracing this concept of flexible working and remote working and assisting companies with that. And also doing that, obviously, doing more for less. So providing that and also delivering a greater sort of return on investment. Moving forward, please. So we do this in 4 ways. And I sort of alluded to the UCC piece. So there's sort of 4 main areas that we focus in. It's connecting and collaborating from anywhere. So that's obviously using unified communications tools. And that obviously includes contact center as well. So there's been a lot of inroads from a contact center perspective in terms of what we are doing, as a business in terms of rounding that solution and growing that business. Then there's sort of customer engagement. So that brings into play things like Bold 360, which is a chatbot solution for sort of mid-market to enterprise customers, providing sort of live agent assist and that AI experience and knowledge-based experience in a contact center environment, through things like websites. So what we're finding in that contact center space is there is a significant drive, particularly by Generation Y, in terms of self-service and wanting to communicate with people, in an omni-channel environment, but with their channel, their sort of personalized channel. And a lot of that often is done remotely, and it's done on websites through chat, either with an agent or through, as I mentioned, through AI. So that customer engagement piece very much brings into play our chatbot offering. And then it's supporting employees and customers from anywhere. So that's sort of solutions like Log Me In Central, where you get to provide support access through the IT organization. As you can imagine, that was the first cab off the rank. When the pandemic hit globally, we were doing a lot to support our own employees, but also customers' employees. When we had this, what I called the great migration of people from the office to work, to secure up and shore up their applications, and those end users. And then last but not least, for me, the cherry on top is our security offering. So that is our identity and access management solution, which is essentially password management and includes multi-factor authentication. Moving on, please. Great stuff. Okay, so I mentioned that we had our sales kickoff last week, and we had Forrester on there, and Forrester had been commissioned by ourselves to put a study together in terms of the critical technologies for businesses that provide work from anywhere solutions. And out of the top 10 trends, we actually have 7 of them. So, unified comms, voice over IP, video conferencing, obviously, remote PC access, one of the things that I've just mentioned. Endpoint management, security in terms of identity and access management, our identity as a service offering. Again, endpoint security, multi-factor authentication, and then the ability to support remote endpoints. So those are sort of the top 7 things that we do. And I think we legitimately can call ourselves the work from anywhere organization, in the fact that everything that we do, every single piece of software that we have, is geared towards supporting people that are remote workers or flexible workers. One of the things there, just to point out, number 1, team messaging. I mentioned the investment that we're putting into the business, or the private equity organization that now owns us is injecting into our company. And a lot of that is going to be focused around this unification of our UC offerings into sort of one single pane of glass. And part of that is going to include, the team messaging component that you'd expect with things like MS Teams, for example, or Slack. So we're sort of investing heavily in that space. Moving on. Thank you. So enough of the chit chat. I talked about the 4 areas that we specialize in. So, a lot of people, strangely, don't know Log Me In. And we just had a new chief marketing officer that started with us a couple of weeks back. And she sort of said last week that it is absolutely her mission in life to make the market abundantly clear of who Log Me In are. We're almost the best kept secret in the SaaS space. I mean, you guys will know a lot of the brands that you can see under here. These are all LogMeIn companies. So you'll know the go-to portfolio. So, things like ubiquitous meeting solutions like GoToMeeting, our GoToWebinar capability that we provide, all size organizations, enterprise down to the SME space. And then our flagship product in that space around UCC, which is our GoToConnect unified communications as a service offering. So you'll know a lot of these products. So they sort of those specifically sit under that go-to piece. And I talked to you about this unification, and what you're going to see over the next 6 months is this unification of all of our go-to products into one single interface, and that is going to include all the go-to portfolio. So GoToConnect, meeting, webinar, and we're also going to be looking at injecting LastPass into that as well from a security standpoint. We're going to offer something that no other UC vendor globally can offer. I mean, we literally play across multiple touch points in an organization, all the way from, as I mentioned, from customer experience, employee experience, the contact center and CX space, all the way through to that sort of end user and that unified comms offering, providing that securely through LastPass for flexible workers. I talk about flexible workers, guys, because some of the studies that we saw last year was actually there's more of a drive for flexible working. That's people working from the office and people working from home, and people wanting to work potentially from anywhere and having the technology to do so. And if I move into some of these other areas that we focus, I talked about our customer engagement solutions with Bolt 360. That's another area where you sort of, from a customer experience perspective, where you drive, some more and greater outcomes for less, basically, in assisting, remote and flexible contact center agents with AI. And then, from a support perspective, we touched on Central. And then, last but not least, we do this securely by, providing secure communications, identity access, password management, and multi-factor authentication for all users across the enterprise. Moving on. Great stuff. So, if there's one slide that I really want you guys to take away, a lot of you that I know already know this, but the guys that are new to LogMeIn, I really want to stress these 4 points. And if there's anything that you take away from my rambling this morning, it's these 4 points. First, in terms of what we offer the channel, we offer one of the highest commission rates, one of the highest monthly recurring rates in the Australia region, and frankly globally, through the master agent model. From a master agent perspective, if I look at the way that I've structured the business locally, TradeWinds are a key partner for us. We lead with TradeWinds, we lead through that master agent model. So we have to offer the best possible commercials, I guess, to end partners. So we offer literally one of the highest monthly recurring revenue numbers, basically. I think it's about 21% out to the channel across the ANZ region. I mean, I think that was the highest, or it's certainly one of the highest that you'll get throughout the vendor community through TradeWinds. Also, we offer quite generous spiffs. So at the moment, it's 5x. So we're doing sort of 5 times multiply. We're also looking at over 2021, we're looking at increasing that to a 6x. So you talked at the beginning, Doug, about some of the vendors looking to offer sort of new spiffs. One of the things that we're going to do over 2021 is actually increase that as well. So we're looking at a 6x in region. And then in terms of some of these other points, really, really important points here, we've got a sizable marketing business with headed up, regionally by a lady called Rebecca. She has, some of you have dealt with Jessica Stark in ANZ. So she reports into Rebecca. Jessica's done wonderful things from a UC perspective. She's now got access to the entire portfolio. We're looking at doing some super exciting things from a marketing standpoint. We have money to spend on partners. Part of my remit, guys, and I've made this very clear when I started 18 months ago, was that we need channel budget, we need channel marketing, and the company's delivered. We have money to throw at partners that want to do things with us. So we have NDF available if you're looking to grow your business, you're looking to do anything that is related to growing the pipeline and essentially making dollars and cents for all of us. We will throw money at you to assist you to do that. So feel free to reach. Obviously, from a technology standpoint, this is really important. We offer more than every other unified communications provider because we do more than unified communications. We do CX, we do unified comms, we do security. We work across the IT stack to provide, support services. So it's a really, really exciting and a holistic offering. One of the things that we are looking at doing is bundling in our solutions. So you will see in the next 2 quarters, from a unified comms perspective, you will have 3 bundle licenses. And those bundle licenses will be a fully operation unified go-to interface with our support products and with security bundled into that. And that will be a licensed SKU that you will be able to purchase from us, or we'll be able to sell to customers through the TradeWinds model. So super exciting, guys, in terms of what we can offer. And then last but not least, and this is the most important bit, this is something that we can do that no other vendor is doing in this region or frankly globally. Because we have been in business for such a long time, we have thousands of customers. We are 100% channel. So what that means is I have the opportunity where one of my guys is working on a piece of business internally for me to tag a partner on that opportunity. It's like me standing on a street corner and literally just giving you $50 notes. Okay, I have the opportunity to tag you as a partner on an opportunity, and not just an opportunity, closed opportunities, which I was doing last year. So it's quite simply put, guys, you support me. This is a relationship. You commit to me, you commit to log me in, and we will look after you. Not just through marketing, but we will give you opportunities. There is no other vendor, okay, in my life that I've worked for that can do that. So I'm super excited, guys. Those are the 4 key components there of what we offer. Predictable revenues, really, really exciting spiffs and sort of high MRR numbers, marketing support, a leading tech portfolio, and last but not least, we're channel friendly and we will provide you with opportunities. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Alyssa, who will talk to you a little bit about the solutions that we offer and then some of the case studies that we have locally. So thank you very much, guys, and Happy New Year.
Thanks for the intro, Mark, and thanks for having me today. I'm excited to talk to you about the Log Me In offering and some of our success stories. So just want to start off, I guess, with this slide, which what you can see here is that we have some examples of our existing customers. And what we want you to know, I guess, off the back of this slide is we don't just focus on enterprise. We're really anything from your one-man band, small businesses, medium businesses, all the way up to enterprise. When I was asked, Alyssa, can you explain what our ideal customer looks like? I really thought to myself, it's not any one industry or any one type of business. It really is anyone who wants to connect, secure, and support their business from anywhere and on any device. We've been saying that. So what I'll do is I'll take you through a couple of examples and just a bit of an introduction from of myself before I get into it. I've been working at Log Me In for 7 years now. Some of you might have actually met some of my reps. My reps, who you will hopefully work with more closely in 2021, focus on both small business and mid-market opportunities. But like I said, we do have teams who are dedicated to enterprise as well. So if we move on to the next slide, I'll talk to you a little bit about one of my favorite case studies out of Log Me In. I have very close contact with this one as well. So Beyond Blue, most of you should know these guys. They're very well known in Australia as a mental health program. And basically Beyond Blue came to us with, this was pre-COVID as well, with the goal of actually expanding reach of their services across Australia, so that people would have improved accessibility to their services. So what we were exploring at the time was online events. A big thing that I guess a lot of organizations come across is the expense of running on-premise events, right? So this was something that they were looking to, I guess, change up a little bit. So not only were they able to expand reach across Australia, but they were also able to reduce costs in using something like GoToWebinar. But then COVID hit, and everyone was thrown through a bit of a loop there, and they had to get creative about telehealth, right? And you will hear this a lot with any kind of mental health service, any kind of health service really. A big mission for them in 2020 and even 2021, especially now that COVID's hit, is how do we make our services available via telehealth? So one of our more recent projects with these guys was setting them up with our cloud telephony service, Go to Connect. So now 135 of their staff across both New South Wales and Victoria are using GoToWebinar and Go to Connect to communicate and collaborate with the community. So this is one of our greatest success stories with regards to the collaboration suite. So if we move on to the next case study, which is actually Lockyer Valley Council, I'll talk to you a little bit about security. So this is an interesting story. These guys actually engaged in an external audit to identify risk factors and potential cybersecurity threats. And what they found was it was actually their password management, which was the most risky part of how they were functioning at the time. So particularly the password sharing component. So what was happening was their employees were lodging ticket after ticket every single day to change the company, I guess, accounts that they were all sharing. And as you can imagine, this would overload their IT team. So they looked to adopt LastPass, and they did. They have an 80% adoption rate right now, which has actually significantly improved this situation for them. So not only does LastPass enable safe password sharing across organizations, but it also significantly reduced the load on their internal IT team for the fact that people were no longer lodging tickets. LastPass is so easy to use. And that is only just the tip of the iceberg with what LastPass does. But you can imagine with councils and government, we work with them a lot. A big priority for them is security. So that's a really good example of LastPass. And the final example that we have here is with Optus. So on the next slide, we'll be talking about Optus's use of our product Rescue. Now, this is proactive IT support, right? We do have Central as well, which can tie up, I guess, your remote support package with, you've got Rescue, which is reactive, Central, which is proactive. But with reference to this case in particular, Optus has a mission around being customer-centric. With that, they really needed to improve the way that they handled customers who were seeking support. So with Rescue, the team at Optus were able to resolve customer issues on the first call at a much higher rate, right, which was one of their goals. And with that, they were able to significantly improve their NPS scores and, therefore happier customers, right? So I hope these three examples give you a bit of an idea as to the holistic value that we can provide any organization. Like I said, not just these enterprise style organizations, but any size. If you want information on any of the products that I've described today, let us know. I mean, Mark touched on earlier, these aren't just the 3 or 4 offerings that we have. We have a whole umbrella of offerings, and I think the main value that LogMeIn provides for our customers is that we're really a one-stop shop, right, for collaboration, support, security. So yeah, reach out to us. I look forward to meeting, a lot of you throughout 2021 and working with you more closely. So with that, I'll hand back to Mark if you wanted to wrap things up. But yeah, thanks again for having me, everyone.
Yeah, do we have any questions?
Mark and Alyssa, fabulous presentation, very powerful information. Mark, I especially liked the way you distilled it down into the 4 things that you wanted people to take away today. Profitable revenue, we had Francis, I think, commenting on there about how, in fact, the commissions are extremely generous with LogMeIn. Not only that, but the spiff that you mentioned, thank you for adding that to the list, 5x currently and probably more to come this year. The sizable marketing business that you mentioned. Marketing is so important for partners as they get that business rolling and as they try to enter new products and new solutions. You mentioned Jessica Stark is on the call, or she's working in marketing. She's also lurking on today's call. Jessica, thank you for your preparation and for being here today. It's so important that new partners especially take advantage of these resources and the demand generation that it can provide. And then you talked about the leading technology portfolio, the fact that you have more products and services available than your competitors in this area and can now bundle them together in solutions that are powerful and reasonably priced for our partners' customers, and that you're channel friendly. Like you say, 100% channel with opportunities for partners to take advantage of the additional sales that come in. This is such a powerful presentation. If you would talk just a little bit about your plans to grow LogMeIn's presence in the Australia, New Zealand market particularly, and how the partners can take advantage of that as you do.
Yeah, sure. So it's very much, I guess, similar to what we did in 2020. I mean, I know that we got hit with COVID and there was, that sort of stopped us doing in-person events, but I think our strategy is, as I sat down with Tony sort of, almost 18 months ago in terms of the plan to run the business through the master agent channel, that's very much still, what we plan to do over the next couple of years. So it's leading through the TradeWinds model first and foremost, and then I think for me, it's really some product enhancements that are happening that I sort of alluded to. Like our sales kickoff last week was, and I use the term super exciting because it really was. They talked about some of the things that we're looking at doing and the investments that we're making in our existing product portfolio. And I know that, if you're a UC provider, there's millions, there's 11 or 12 vendors out there that do that. They're in sort of siloed in this box. And then if you're a security provider, they're siloed in this box. The thing that really interests me and excites me is we've rebranded ourselves, across those sort of functions, and we are truly this work from anywhere business. So we provide security solutions, support solutions, unified communication solutions, customer experience solutions, and we do that and we badge that all up under the one banner. And one of the things that we're doing to drive business over the ANZ region, as I sort of alluded to, is we will have very, very shortly 3 licenses, and those licenses from a UC standpoint will incorporate the entire go-to portfolio and LastPass and our support offerings, our IT support offerings for the IT function. So it is really, really exciting in terms of what we can offer as a vendor. If we go from that UC standpoint, it becomes more of a holistic offering for flexible and remote working and remote support for enterprises. So we don't come at it from unified comms, we don't come at it from security. We come at it being sort of company centric in terms of, what is it that an IT organization is looking to do inside their business? What is it that a CEO wants to get out of their organization? How important is customer experience? How important it is for the IT guys to keep their flexible, remote workforce secure? And obviously, how important is it to support those end devices? So there's a whole raft of things that we do. So really, it's, in a nutshell, and to distill this, it is leading through, the model, the strategy that we've had and we put in place in 2020, continuing with that, working closely with TradeWinds, and then some of these really exciting product enhancements that you'll see over the next 2 or 3 quarters. That's probably it.
One of the questions that always comes up for our partners as they speak with their clients is, what about integrations? What type of integrations does LogMeIn offer, and what sort of flexibility with those integrations exists?
Sure. So again, because we've got a portfolio play, there is a lot of integrations across each of those, across each of the solution stacks. One of the big areas that we are investing in is Microsoft Teams. That, Microsoft have the desktop. You're a fool in any space, whether it's LastPass from a security standpoint, whether it's the unification story that we have around unified communications, whatever the product is, and whichever space you come from, I think vendors are fools if they're not sort of operating in that MS environment, that Microsoft environment. So for us, it's integration into Microsoft Teams across the portfolio. So not just from a go-to perspective or a go to webinar, go to connect, or go to meeting perspective. It's also things like LastPass, how do we integrate LastPass with desktop, from a multi-factor authentication standpoint. So I think it's a wider conversation, which I'm really keen to have with people, depending on what part of the portfolio they're interested in. That then sort of dictates those sort of integrations. But as I mentioned, one of the big stories for us is how we are integrating across multiple solutions into MS Teams this year.
Alyssa, in your role as a sales manager, what do you see as some of the telltale signs that an opportunity exists for remote access services? And maybe what sorts of questions do you recommend that partners ask of their clients to determine if that kind of an opportunity exists?
Yeah, so I think actually in the times that we're in right now, it's easier than ever to identify an opportunity like that, because we're finding that a lot of organizations across the world are having to stay at home, right? So what that means is that they don't have the luxury of walking down the hall and resolving issues for internal staff or going down the road to meet their local client. So really anyone that says we are having to make a remote workforce work for us is an opportunity for you to dive deeper into that and ask questions like, what are you doing to support your staff and your clients at this time? And how do you plan on, I guess, improving your business continuity moving into the future, where lots of organizations and even your clients are moving towards remote-based work, right? So I think that one is going to be particularly relevant and has been in the past year for us, especially now that times have changed with the impacts of COVID.
Boy, it's so true. Phenomenal opportunities in 2021 for partners selling remote access solutions. Obviously, you've got to consider LogMeIn as a solution provider. Such powerful solution sets, and the resources that are being made available to partners, simply second to none. Mark, Alyssa, powerful presentation. Thank you so much for being part of the Thursday call today. We look forward to a big 2021 with LogMeIn.
Thanks, Doug, and Happy New Year to everyone.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thank you both.
You.
We appreciate Mark and Alyssa joining our call today from LogMeIn, and our thanks to TradeWinds' Candy Phillips, Megan Wilkinson, Tony Haywood, and Francis Choi for being part of today's event. Likewise, our appreciation goes out to each of you. We hope you'll share your ideas and comments with us for our next TradeWinds Thursday call. That will be on February 18th. Until then, I'm Doug Miller. From all of us at TradeWinds, have a great selling month, everyone. See you soon.